our summer fun situation and on Open Streets, Kalakaua. And if, Lori, if you could make sure all your guys stand around, and Dr. Moore, just in case there's questions.
If you guys could raise your hand and wait for the mic to come to you.
So Brandy has the mic.
Ask your question.
Okay.
Mayor Rick Dace here. How disappointing after only 2 days this happened?
I have to say it is disappointing and also concerning. The number of cases that we've seen on Oahu as we started to thaw our economy. You know, they've gone as high as 27, 28, 29. As we're thawing out, we haven't even welcomed visitors back to our shores. And really, the Department of Health holds our future in their hands through testing, contact tracing, isolation, and support. And now the test is on, right? As we open up and thaw out. And as long as they can continue to manage the case load and contact trace and get to everyone who someone came into contact with, I think the confidence is there to continue to thaw out. But if they're unable to do it, that means we have to slow down. I don't think any of us want to not continue to open up and get our jobs back, get our lives back. And today we see people wanting to get their lives back. But it's really important that the Department of Health do their job, and what's really important is we do our job, face coverings, physical distancing.
If you have a follow-up, so we'll do a question and a follow-up, and then we'll get to the next person.
You mentioned a number of kids that how many employees and what how close contact is there?
So yeah, the kids are 48 as mentioned, and all parents are notified by phone call, and they'll be getting a letter from us also. But Michelle, if you could come up, they want to know how many staffers were impacted at OII.
Michelle Nakota from the Department of Parks and Recreation. Just wanted to echo what the mayor said, that there were 5 employees and 48 kids that were in the summer fun program.
We'll go to Reed, and then we'll go over here.
Okay, Mayor, what did this person do for the summer fund program? And is anyone being asked to stay home? Any of the children or staff?
No one is asked to stay home. We did, in fact, talk about it, and we decided as long as we do sufficient notification and contact tracing, that we'll be able to allow the program to continue for the kids to return to summer fun. Now, if you don't have any symptoms, headaches, coughing, fever, they should immediately see their physician. That applies to both the kids and the staffers. Hey guys, see these awesome ladies? They're the hot red, what? Red hot ladies, and they ride everywhere on Oahu. But anyway, okay, red hot ladies. Thanks for being out again today.
Mayor, what did that person do for the summer fun program? You know what
Michelle, can you come and describe what that person did? Thank you.
Yeah, the person was more of an administrator, so they did not work directly with the kids.
Okay. Over here.
Yes, my name is Jürgen with Itobo News. I'm wondering, do you think we're in a soft launch stage also when it comes to the visitors industry? If you look at the arrival numbers, also the arrivals of visitors that are supposedly have to stay in quarantine still, I think we all can pretty much believe that it's not always the case. And now the numbers 3 weeks after this are in fact rising. And I know the reports are it's been traced to certain other initiatives, but if you look at it all together, do you think we're in the soft opening stage and this is maybe an initial result?
As I said, I think as we thaw out and open up, we are seeing the number of cases increase. We expected that. We were told by our health professionals to see that. As long as the numbers remain low and are manageable, then we can continue to thaw out and open up. That's incumbent on all of us. As I keep saying, it's the face coverings and physical distancing and not gathering in large groups. It's why I mandated last week, Thursday, that all folks need to wear face coverings indoors, everywhere, except when they sit at their desk, of course, when they're at home, and there are the exceptions, and outdoors. where it's impossible to practice good physical distancing, like probably a whole bunch of people at Waikiki Beach and with their family units or others, they should be wearing face coverings where possible. So we know there are going to be a number more cases, and now it's incumbent on the Department of Health to make sure they can manage those if they can. And we practice all our protocols, and the cases remain in a range where we don't impact the supply of PPE, of ICUs, units, ventilators, those kind of things. We can continue to open up. I think we got to be really careful between now and August 1st. We're seeing community spread now. Some travel, but mainly community spread. That means we're giving it to each other on this island and the other islands, and maybe transferring it from Oahu to other islands too. So we've got to be really, really careful. And if we don't manage it right, it could jeopardize the opening up to visitors on August 1st.
Maybe a follow-up, Mayor. When you compare Hawaii currently with other mainland cities, and just take the numbers that are per million, the numbers in Florida after they opened 3 weeks later are probably about 150 times the number per million. So this is a real comparison to what it is in Hawaii. Doesn't it worry you? Because we're an island, so we don't have the infrastructure. If this thing hits us, it's going to hit us so bad that we won't be able to handle it. Don't you think it's time to start a discussion before all the businesses are getting ready for August 1st to really look at the realities as they're unfolding right now?
So I think all of us are concerned. I say if you ask the majority of the business owners on Kalakaua or people living around our island, everyone is concerned. I wouldn't compare ourselves to Florida for a couple of reasons. I think we had a governor in Florida who didn't even want to require face coverings and a lot of other things. We got a governor here who does. And you got a group of people here on Oahu, the majority of us, who really do practice all the protocols requested. And you have in the state of Florida a movement going on that somehow if you don't wear a face covering, you're assumed to be weak, not macho, not man enough. You got to be like the president, not wear a mask, because that means I'm tough. That is dangerous. That is weak. That is irresponsible. Today in the Honolulu Star Advertiser, I read a statement by someone who said not wearing a face mask is like a face covering is like driving after drinking. You're just encouraging dangerous results. So I think we're much different than Florida. But having said that, we need to be very careful. And we're watching the caseload and make sure that it can be managed. Right now, it looks like it, but ask me tomorrow or the next day, I may start to give you a different result. Depending on where we see the infection rate, we see more clusters. Are they being contact traced aggressively within the first 24 hours? And is everyone notified? And if we can do that, then I think we can continue to open up.
Question from
Yeah.
Allison Jeffers.
Yeah, Allison. Hi. No, I'm sorry. I should have my name.
So my question is that you see California with the record number of cases, 11,000. We know that's our core visitor market. We see other parts of the mainland, Oregon and some others rolling back on reopening. How comfortable are you with the parameters that you put in for the August 1st reopening of 75 or otherwise? Again, if you don't see the temperature, or would you like to see comments before you do that? Another key is everyone seems to like to see happen in addition to those parameters given what's going on now.
So I think all the mayors, along with leadership in the state, is watching very closely what's happening in California and the West Coast, which is one of our major markets for visitors. East Coast is also another major market. While they seem to be doing a little bit better, there's no doubt the virus is still spreading, and the West Coast is actually growing in increasing numbers not ever seen before. And I think right now, with the requirement that there be a 72-hour test, negative test, before you get on a plane and be exempt from quarantine or a 14-day quarantine, addresses a lot of those concerns. The other one is the form that's been developed by Department of Health and state in input with the mayors on health information, so that if someone does get sick, there's a way to contact trace. If you make it too hard to get a test done, that means more people will come and elect quarantine but not quarantine. And it's going to be extremely hard for our Honolulu Police Department to really do enforcement of quarantine breakers when it exceeds a certain number. You know, we have about 1,100, 1,200 police officers. We'll have many more than that visitors, and if all of those were in quarantine and were a fair number were breaking that quarantine, can you imagine our Honolulu Police Department trying to crack down on quarantine breakers? Well, cracking down on law breakers on our island, we've seen a spike again of stabbings and holdup and robberies. We're looking like we're going in the wrong direction, or the direction before the pandemic in terms of crime. I don't know what's driving that, but we need our officers fighting that more than we need them cracking down on quarantine breakers. So we can get more people to take a test and show that they're negative, so they don't have to be in quarantine. The better it is for the enforcement of the quarantine, which is the Honolulu Police Department. I feel that everyone should be tested, and that 72 hours is a standard. Now, I know there's discussions underway about it's hard to get a test back in 72 hours. You know, the average turnaround time at CVS is like 2.5 days, and you know, therefore, you know, there are people who have booked their reservations and made their hotel reservations, have flight reservations, don't get their test back in time. That's a challenge that's going to have to be addressed. And then folks like CVS, Walgreens don't test people under 17 and below. They don't test. So how do you get those kids tested? We do know that young adults, in fact, carry the virus, and many times they're asymptomatic and can spread the virus to their parents and grandparents, and we don't want that. So we need to be careful. We all need to work together. We all need to be open and transparent, and we all need to keep our eye on what's happening in California right now.
I just have one follow-up to the summer fun issue. I think that they mentioned that the woman that was the employee, her husband had tested positive for COVID before. Was she not tested until later, and allowed to go to work, or I mean, how did that happen?
You want to, Dr. Murray, it's about the husband. No, why did she get tested? She got tested right. You want to answer that?
So I think the question was, why didn't she get tested right away? So the husband was having symptoms, which is why he got tested. And so there was really no reason for her to get tested at that time. She was not having symptoms. He was not, he had no known exposure to COVID. So he was just getting tested because he was sick. And so that's why she didn't get tested.
Your name, though, and say who you are.
Hi, I'm Seth.
Hi, I'm Tyson.
Hi, I'm Jack.
Hi, Bryson.
Hi, Mom. What do you think about this open streets? Why are you down here?
It's really cool. This event seems very enjoying, and all coming together, having fun today.
Have you ridden? Are you ready?
Oh, no, not today.
Not today? You just went shopping?
We're going to the beach.
Going to the beach.
I got a picture with him.
Afterwards. Okay. You want to have him take it? Take it real quick. Give it to someone.
Yo, Tyson, you want to do
Alex, Michael.